In this lesson, we'll begin working on the head of our character. So if we take a look here at the head, you can see that we've got this long opening for the mouth, but otherwise it's sort of kind of a square shape, let's say, kind of a cube shape, okay? So we've got the top and the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and make it out of a couple of cubes. So let's go ahead and start by just dropping in a parametric cube. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of move it into position a little bit. And then I can use the handles to kind of get the rough size going. Okay. And kind of bring it up here. We can kind of rotate it a little bit. So assuming this is going to be the top of our head. Okay. Now I want to kind of get the size here going from side to side. And kind of bring that in a basic width. Kind of a little bit wider than the neck, let's say. And I want to add a few divisions to this. So I'm going to be splitting it down the middle. So I want to make sure I have enough divisions that way, and also from the side. So let's go ahead and grab our cube, and let's start to add some divisions. So I'm going to add maybe 4 segments from side to side in the X. In the Y direction, let's do 3. And then in the Z, let's go ahead and add maybe 6 or so. You can always add more, but I want to get a good number so that we can get the shape, because if we look at it from the side, it's got a very unique shape to it. Okay, so we can always add extra geometry, but I just want to get a kind of a rough outline of it here. Okay, so we got 4 by 3 by 6. Let's go ahead and make this editable. And let's go ahead and delete half of it. So we only have to concentrate here on 1/2, which will help us. And so I can either select the loops, or I can just drag across. You can see, or I've got the tolerance selection turned off. If I turn that on and I just cross over those polygons, it's actually going to select those. If I have that off, I have to completely cross the polygons to be able to select them. So you can see the difference. I completely go across that first row, it just selects those. If I turn on tolerant, all I have to do is cross into, so I'm selecting the same way, but now it's selecting both rows. So I'll go ahead and delete those, and also go ahead and get rid of those extra points. Okay, well, let's also come in and delete the polygons on the back, so we know that's where we're going to be connecting it up to our neck. Get rid of those points. And now we can start to do a little bit of shaping here. So coming in from the side and just selecting those points, we can start to do a little bit of shaping. So I'll just come in here from the side and shape it first, as much as we can with the geometry that we have. Just come in and get that sort of profile there. And obviously the top needs to come down quite a bit, so we can come go ahead and bring that down. And the front of this needs to curve off a little bit, so we'll kind of knock that edge off a little just from the side. Same thing here, kind of bring that in. And now it's just a matter of, from the different views, modifying the shape of this top portion of the head. Okay. Let's go ahead and kind of bring this down a little bit, kind of in preparation for where it's going to eventually connect with the neck. Kind of bring this up a little. Okay, now looking at this, you can see it's really squared off now, so we can start to change the shape from another axis. So in this case, we can start to bring these lines in a bit. We just select this one and kind of pull it over. This one, the same thing. And really just start to kind of round this off a little bit. Come in here, kind of knock off the front there. We probably need a little bit more resolution up there. Kind of coming in here on along the mouth, where the mouth would be, kind of pulling that in. So now we're just kind of getting it away from that shape. Okay, we want it to be much narrower here, so we'll go ahead and bring this in all the way up here, up to the front. Okay, all the way up here with this front piece. Kind of bring that back in. And so you can see we're starting to get that sort of a snout kind of a shape. And we can bring this in and kind of smooth things out a little bit. You can see if we've got some lines that are a little bit too close, we can space them out a little. And just start to move these pieces around. Okay, if you want to go ahead and add a symmetry to this to see it, you can. Let's go ahead and pull this in a little so it's kind of matches up with the rest of that. So it's going to be a little bit wider back here at the back, let's say. Kind of pull this in a little bit. Same thing back here. Pull that in and down, kind of starting to round things off a little bit. Okay, we can start to bring some of this geometry up a little and just get it into kind of a rough shape. And again, remember, this is going to be half, so it's going to be twice as wide as what you see here. So you think it might look a little bit, you think it might be fine, but it's probably a little bit too wide. So you can go ahead and make that even a little bit narrower as you come in here and start to tweak the sides of it here. Okay, and you can still fix things up, fix these things as you come in with your symmetry, but just come in and kind of do as much as we can here. So again, just kind of rounding things off a bit. Okay, so once you have sort of the top, and I've left the geometry on the bottom here, but once we have the geometry for the top of the head, we can kind of reuse that for the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and take that piece of geometry, we'll control drag it, and so we've now got two of these. And so I'm going to go ahead and take this and let's kind of move it down, and I also want to sort of rotate it around. Actually, I want to actually flip it. So with that selected, I'm going to go to polygon mode, and let's go right click and let's just do a mirror. And so I want to use the object coordinate system in the XZ because I want to mirror this over in the Y. And let's go ahead and apply that. And then I'm just going to move those faces up. And I actually want to split this out from the geometry that we just had. So in those faces, I can go to commands, and let's go ahead and split it. So now we have one object here, another object here, which we'll delete. Let's go ahead and I'm going to actually center under mesh axis center axis 2, and actually move this up, and we can rotate it. And it just gives us a head start on the bottom part of the mouth. We can go ahead and kind of scale this down a little bit, and then we just need to start moving some points around. Okay, so they're already pretty close, but we want to come in now and select, for instance, these, bring these down here, bring these points down a little bit to the base of the neck. Okay, and just start cleaning this up a little. I don't want them to overlap. I want to leave a little bit of a gap there. So we'll come in and just tweak these points a little bit. All right. So same thing. You can see in the drawing where that sort of edge of that mouth is, and so you can use this to kind of put those into position. Okay, so once you get these points into place, the next thing that we need to do is to go ahead and merge this geometry together. So for the head, so I'm going to go ahead and get these points positioned, and I'm going to leave them separate, and then in the next lesson we can come in and begin to combine this geometry together and then attach it to the body. So we'll go ahead and do that in the next lesson.